Drafting with Numot, Modern Cube. Hello friends, Kenji back again for another Drafting with Numot. This time it is Modern Cube. This is a new cube that they just introduced online to Magic Online rather. And it is all modern legal cards and in cube format. So cube is a powerful draft format where you're going to see a lot of silly cards. My first pack here is not too exciting though. I have like a Phyrexian Metamorph which keeps us open, and some other okay spells, but nothing I'm too tempted to take here. I think we'll take the Metamorph just to stay open because you can play this in any deck. Luckily for us, Phyrexian mana is still broken as heck, so go ahead and take the Metamorph and see where we go. I've drafted this now about 3 times, and aggro seems to be very, very nice, but the time that I did 3-0, I was playing blue-black control, so we'll see how the stars align and what kind of things will get passed to us. This seems like a really nice pack. Monastery Mentor, always a great one. Harvester, the standard and limited staple of the current set. Consuming Vapors is a fun one. Rabble Masters is sweet for the aggro decks. I'm a huge fan of the Riftwing Cloudskate. I always love to pick that up in my blue cube decks. But I think I might just take the Mentor here and see where we can go from there. It's either Mentor or Riftwing in my opinion, and Mentor has better upside and is just very, very powerful card. But there are some combo decks that you can get in this format. There's like a Kiki Jiki that can combo with Azealous Conscripts or Restoration Angel. You also have like the Gifts Ungiven Unburial Rites package where you can reanimate like Grizzlebrand or Angel of Serenity, some other decent targets, but pretty fair as far as cubes are concerned. You can do some broken stuff, but generally it's going to be just a back and forth. So we'll see what we can turn this into. All right, Heart of Kiran, another vehicle making its way into the modern cube. We see a Lotus Cobra here. I see 2 fetches, which I'm pretty interested in taking. There's also a Thalia, Heretic Cathar, another really solid creature in the aggressive white decks, and something that really punishes slower starts or control-y decks. I might actually take the Thalia here and see if we can kind of force a mono-white aggro deck. I think mono-white is one of the better aggro decks in any cube, and well, Thalia and Mentor are both pretty decent there. The only thing about Mentor in the mono-white aggro deck is that most of your deck is going to be creatures, and so you're not going to get as many triggers from the Mentor as you would probably like, but I think we're going to give this a shot and just take the Thalia. Still very open. I don't have to commit myself to anything just yet, but again, we're going to see where this leads us, and I think we're in a good spot. Alright, follow-up pack has some real good ones here. Kotha the Hammer, obviously great. Nissa Vital Force, there's a Phyrexian Obliterator, Cloudgoat Ranger, Silverheart, Mindstone, Mist Raven, Nest Invader. Cloudgoat Ranger's pretty good. Probably could take it here. Wolfir Silverheart also just a huge beater. Mindstone is an interesting pickup as well. I think Mindstone is just a great one. I'm a huge fan of all the artifacts that ramp you in this format, or just in any format in general. So I think I'm going to take the Mindstone here and see what we can do with that. Could also just play a more control-y deck, of course. A blue-white deck, focusing on controlling the board state. And in that type of deck, Mentor is going to get a lot better. Plus, Thalia is just great on her own in any white deck anyway. So we'll try this out, see where it leads us. And our next pick is a few different options here. Defensively, we could take a Condemn. Offensively, we could take like the Grafted Wargear or Gideon's Lawkeeper. There's Avenger of Zendikar in this pack, but I think, again, I'm going to try to kind of force the white deck here, so I might just take Condemn, even though this is more of a control-y card than anything else. I think we could build that deck. Condemn here, passing some other nice ones, of course, but we'll see how this plays out. Alright, then very next pack has 0 white cards. So we might be looking to pivot a little bit. I could go into a red-white aggressive deck. Hellrider is one of my favorite creatures of all time. I do love a destructive force. Card is silly, but I'm not really going down that route at the moment. Moloku for the blue-white deck. A Slime is good. Read the Bones is completely fine. I could take the Hellrider here and see what a red-white aggro deck does. Also, I could just pivot into the old mono-red Red Rocks Me. one of my go-to favorite archetypes. Just super aggressive mono-red, but combine it with the white and you can do some pretty silly stuff as well. We'll have to see what the next packs give us. Yeah, this pack is not that exciting. I'm not really a huge fan of Sarkin Dragon Speaker, and I think Release the Gremlins is pretty medium, but none of the other cards in this pack excite me. Like Mind Control is fine, Pact of Negation is fine. Again, still could be a more control-y deck for sure, but not really certain on which route I want to go. Kind of want to take the control-y route. Mind Control and Pact both lend to that strategy, but Sarkin is just completely fine if I want to do that. I just feel like Mind Control is probably not at its best in this format, and I'd rather have a counterspell. So we'll see. We'll see if taking Pact is going to be any good for us. There is a Battle Sphere here that could be nice, and it is colorless. But like I was mentioning before, I love the colorless artifacts. Well, rather just the artifacts that ramp out. So I'm going to take the Prismatic Lens, and it looks like I'm shifting into that control-y deck I was talking about, which is making that Mentor a lot better. Like we picked up Mind Stone, Lens, Condemn, and Pact of Negation, all trigger the Prowess, and all trigger the token poop out. Okay, this is pack 9. So pick 9, our original pack. I'll take the Either Adept here. Eternal Witness is a great one. Chasm Skulker is fine. I'm not a huge fan of it though. And then you have like Arc Trail and Pyromancer for the red deck. But at this point, I might just solidify myself in a blue-white deck and take the Adept here. Not a bad one. Lots of creatures that bounce things that they've put into this modern cube. You have the Either Adept, you have the Venser, you have, what else? Mistraven. Probably forgetting some things, but that is the case. Okay, Spirit of the Labyrinth could still push us into the aggressive white deck. I mean, otherwise I'm taking something like Electrolyze or maybe just Clifftop Retreat for a potential splash, but interesting choices here. I think I'm going to lean on the Retreat, or maybe the Labyrinth, actually. No, we can still be a blue-white aggro deck. I have no idea what I'm doing, is basically what it comes down to. This is a mulligan. Take a sideboard Sundering Growth. I can't imagine Spirit of the Labyrinth is going to be a card that I really want to play in a control deck where I'm probably going to pick up some number of silly card draw effects. Oh, there's that Mistraven on the wheel. Okay, that's pretty good. This is looking nice for us now. I'm going to put the Spirit, I think, into the sideboard, but again, I don't know. What am I doing? What am I doing? That's the nice thing about cubes. There's so many playable cards. Even if you don't correctly move into whatever's open, you can still build a pretty viable deck. I'm sure chat, everybody in the comments below can yell at me for not taking one card or another and going down the route I am, but yeah, as long as you have fun, you can still build a sweet deck, etc., etc. All right, last pick, Kakusho. And let's see what this next pack has for us. Okay, a lot of goodies here. Elspeth, Knight Errant, Kithian, Ancestral Vision. There's a Hallowed Fountain, Silent Departure, Condescend, Windbriskites. I think I'm going to take the Elspeth. With the double artifact on turn 2, we can potentially play a turn 3 Elspeth, which seems pretty good. Sad to pass some fixing, sad to pass some card draw, but yeah, Elspeth seems pretty nice here. Happily going to take that. Okay, pick 2, pack 2. We have, wow, lots of nice ones. Reflector Mage, Venser, Oust, Sublime Archangel. Could even take a Psionic Blast, and I do enjoy myself a lovely Staff of Nin. That card does some major work. Kind of tempted to take the Reflector Mage here, but I think that might wheel if I take the Venser. Otherwise, wouldn't be surprised if Staff of Nin wheels. A lot of people think that is too expensive to play, but I'm happy to take the Venser here, and looks like we're going to be more of a blue-white kind of tempo aggro. Ooh, and Spell Queller is perfect for that archetype. Wow, I'm really liking where this deck is headed. Passing Akira here, but yeah, Spell Queller, after taking that Venser, seems pretty nice. I think I'll go ahead and take Anticipate in this pack over like Solemn Recruit or Spear of Heliod. Both of those cards are fine, but want some more stuff to do early. And I think Anticipate fits that bill. Surprisingly, I might consider cutting this Condemn now, because we're going to be the aggressors predominantly. Spell Pierce seems pretty nice to me. Passing some decent cards here. There's a Liliana, which is just very good in this format. Massacre Orm is nice. Siege Gang. Happy to take the counter magic though. I can see myself paying or casting this Pact of Negation on like a pivotal turn where I can't pay the mana cost for it, just to get in for the final points of damage or counter something that they might do in response. We'll see though. I'm liking where this draft is heading. That Hollowed Fountain, I'm really hoping it wheels, but we could pick up things like Seachrome Coast. What else is in Modern? Not Tundra, what am I thinking? Just any of the fetch lands, and any blue-white land is going to be really good for us. I love myself a Ralzeric, but I don't think I can take it here and splash it. Instead, we'll just take the Serum Visions pretty happily. Elder Deep Fiend could be a good one here as well. Don't get me wrong. And Core Hookmaster is also nice, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, I think we might actually be able to wield the Elder Deep Fiend if we take Serum Visions. I don't think Serum Visions wheels. Kind of a mixed bag deck right now, but feeling pretty good on where we're at. Okay, Terramorphic Expanse. Wow, it's a pretty late Grizzlebrand. Could take a random Shrine of Burning Rage, but looks like Terramorphic Expanse is going to be the pick here for us. Helps find that double blue, double white that we have right now. And none of the other cards that enticing. Okay, another good pack here. Impersonator's pretty sweet, but I think I'm going to take the Spike-tailed Drakeling. This card is aggressive, plus in a pinch, you can just get your opponent, so I think we'll take that here over like Scattered to the Winds. Ooh, Condescend on the wheel is also pretty nice. I kind of like the Shrine of Loyal Legions. You just play it on turn 2 and it just sits there, and then eventually you get like, 7 1/1 tokens and just overwhelm the opponent. Silent Departure, also one of my favorite cards, especially in the Innistrad format, but I think I'm going to take the counter magic here and just happily play this Condescend. Wouldn't mind a few more big win cons. I mean, I say we're at like tempo aggro, but would be pretty happy to pick up like a Gideon or a Karn or even one of the Frost or Sun Titans. Those both would be quite nice right now. But hey, I'm liking the direction we're going. Ooh, a Geist of Saint Traft would be pretty nice in this deck. Could definitely use a few removal spells. We're a little bit glutted on counters more than anything right now. We have, Pact of Negation, Spell Pierce, Condescend, Venser in a pinch, Spike-tailed Drakeling, and Spell Queller. But no real hard removal besides the Condemn, which is not exactly the card we're excited to play. Would much rather have like a Journey to Nowhere or I guess some more bounce effects. But we have another pack to go after this one finishes, so looking good. Okay, next pack has that Staff of Nin that we thought would wheel. Wow, super late Sheoldred. There is also an Oust here, but I think... Oust is so good, but I think Staff of Nin is going to be better. This is a legitimate win con. It is 6 mana, but you get to draw an extra card during your turn, and the ping is not irrelevant. that starts to add up. Obviously, the later in the game you have Staff of Nin, it's going to get much better, right? Because then you're just pinging more and drawing more. But I'm pretty happy with that pickup. I think people don't appreciate this card as much as they should. Maybe it's not as good as in, other formats. Whereas if this was just M13, Staff of Nin would pretty much be a bomb. In maybe a cube draft like this, it's not as good. Wow, Kira was a really nice one for me to wheel. Protects our creatures like Mentor and Thalia. There's also a Revoker here. Revoker is always playable in cube because either planeswalkers or other artifacts or activated abilities that you can turn off, but I think we want the Kira. Take the Kira here and pick up just mono fixing in the next pack if possible. That Hollowed Fountain did not wheel. So hopefully we can find like Celestial Colonnade or that Seachrome Coast or maybe even like a City of Brass. City of Brass maybe not so good, but just fixing in general. Alrighty, last few picks. Rashmi's not bad. Don't think we're going to be splashing Rashmi, but that could definitely be something that helps us accrue some additional value. We do have Prismatic Lens for fixing, and could always pick up some blue-green lands. Ooh, Sorin could also be a potential splash. Again, unlikely, but possibilities do exist. We have quite a few playables already in our deck for only being 2 packs in, so that's a really nice sign. We can kind of take fixing higher than other things, or just be really selective of the cards that we want to get. Cascade Bluff's last pick here in the second pack. Could splash Devil's Play, not really looking to do that. In regular limited formats, fireball effects are generally just something you want to splash, but in cube I find that to be a little bit less than optimal, so probably going to relegate it to the sideboard still and just maybe look for other better red cards to splash, if any. The third and final pack has shipped, and wow, we got some powerful ones. Elspeth Sun's Champion, Grave Titan, Liliana of the Veil, Tamiyo, Coalition Relic, Everflowing Chalice. All cards that I do enjoy. Obviously the black ones here not for us, but I could consider taking the Elspeth Sun's Champion. That card is very powerful and definitely wins a lot of games. Tamiyo similar. They're also, man, one of my favorite cards, Coalition Relic. I've never passed that card in my life. And then a Chalice here as well. I think we do want another win con though, and Elspeth does fit that bill. I'm a little bit sad to pass the Tammy, but I think Elspeth is just a clear game winner here, and it's going to be my pick. Hopefully we can find a few more good win cons like Elspeth. Or maybe just some more interaction in general, but I'm liking the way our deck's headed. It's got good tempo creatures, good removal, rather good counters, and some really solid other spells. So I think we can definitely get there with this deck. All right, pick 2 of this third pack. There's a Cold Steel Heart if I want to take that for some fixing. Jace is certainly not terrible, but a little bit slow and dirtly. Wake Thresher is fine, although I don't believe you have the combo of Basalt Monolith in here. Probably don't need the Cold Steel Heart. Probably should take Jace. Not going to consider the Precursor Golem. I'm just not a huge fan of that card in cube. But we'll take a Planeswalker. Almost never wrong to have more Planeswalkers in your deck if they're on color. And even if it's just like 5 mana, bounce 2 creatures over 2 turns, that's very, very fine. This deck does utilize those type of abilities very well. Plus, we already have a few other bounce effects, so we can like lock the opponent out of the game just by bouncing their creatures every turn. Pretty sick. Adapt, Mistwraven Venser, Jace. Silly bounce, bounce, bounce. Next pack for us has, ooh, there we go. Finally, a lovely Celestial Colonnade. Yeah, there's just nothing I'm going to take over at Colonnade here. Misty Rainforest, I don't even have any of the duels to fetch with it. Crystal Shard is legitimately great here. If you take a look at our creatures, You can bounce Metamorph to reset it. You can bounce Venser to kind of lock the opponent out. You can bounce Mistraven, Adept, Spell Queller. Lot of good hits here with Crystal Shard, but potentially this wheels. I think a lot of people don't respect it. And again, we really need that fixing. So Celestial Colonnade was one of the key cards that we were looking for, since we have basically our spells lined up already, but we're looking for that fixing. And again, we have double blue, double blue, double blue, blue, double blue, double blue, double blue, double white, double white. So fixing is king. All right, batter up. How does a Delver of Secrets feel in this deck? Probably poor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, not even gonna play it. Cards we can take: Repeal, nice little tempo. Bounce, card draw, Confiscate, expensive, but this is enchant permanent, so you can steal planeswalkers with this. This card can do some nice things, and it is technically another win con, which I was mentioning before that I do want to have. So I think we're gonna take the Confiscate here, and now that we have our 23 lined up, we're probably just looking for the very best of cards, right? Find if we can get any replacements to cards like the Spirit of the Labyrinth, which we don't really want to play because it's a non-bow in our deck. Instead, we can take like a Rune Snag. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2 plus an additional 2 for each card named Rune Snag. Kind of funny. This is Cube, so you're not going to see more than one Rune Snag ever in your particular draft, which means it's always just going to be a miscalculation in that regard. There's also a Mana Tithe and a Mimic Vat. I think Mimic Vat is great, but we're not really killing our opponent's creatures, right? We're kind of just bouncing and tempoing them out. So I think one of the counter spells here is going to be the better pick. And despite my love for Mana Tithe, I think I'm gonna take the Rune Snag here instead. So good pickup, gets rid of that Spirit of the Labyrinth that was still sitting in our deck, and yeah, lots of counters now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6. All right, so not too bad. Another decent pack here for us. There's a Sleight of Hand. Could take Reflecting Pool. Looter Del Core is always great, and Icy Manipulator is just awesome and limited. Probably take the Looter here above all else. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Looter and ship the Condemned to the sideboard. Reflecting Pool, it could be decent for the mana fixing, but I think the Looter's going to just be a little bit better. It's going to poke in for some damage and filter our cards. Into Essence Scatter, Jace, or Nicol Bolas. No. I'm going to take the Essence Scatter here. More counters, more better, as they always say. I don't know who always says that, but as they always say. And that means we can cut one of our more filler cards, although I'm not sure what that card is going to be. I suppose Spell Pierce is not necessary. Alright, we'll take the Spell Skite here. I really like this new promo Spell Skite that they have for Magic Online. I know everybody's used to the old one, but this one looks real nice. Oh wow, Tammy Wield. Damn. Okay, that's sick. Also the Chalice too, but definitely taking the Tameo here. Gonna take the Wake Thrasher, probably not play it. Okay, wow. So, got some really nice ones here in this last pack. I'm actually not sure what I'm going to cut anymore. You know what? Baral is actually kind of silly now, isn't it? With the number of counters I have. We could definitely take Baral and make good use of him. Oh, that's interesting. I love Vesuvian Shapeshifter, but... I'll just take the Shapeshifter. Too cute. Got the Repeal as well. And the Mimic Vat. Alright. Wow, we have just all of the goodies in the world. I need to cut 4 cards here, and I have a few cards in the sideboard that I still kind of want to play too. That's pretty tempting. Gross. I don't actually know what to cut. We just have too many good cards. I guess that's first world problems, huh? Too many good cards in your cube deck. Probably can cut Repeal. Maybe can cut Spell Pierce. Still need to cut 2 cards here. I guess we still have a few more picks left to go, don't we? There's that Reflecting Pool too if we want to run that. I guess Vesuvian Shapeshifter is not necessary when I already have Metamorph. I'm kind of looking to cut the Jace, but I think it's just too good with all of our other bounce effects. Plus, we can always bounce a creature and then just counter it on the way back down. Look at my creature curve. Although this technically makes creatures, I suppose. And Elspeth also makes creatures. Ooh boy. Decisions, decisions. It's possible I'm just supposed to cut the Rune Snag now, but I feel like they're so good in this type of deck. Could also cut the Pact of Negation, but I think it's also pretty nice here. If I cut Pact of Negation, I still have Scatter, Rune Snag, Venser, and Condescend. I'm leaving the Spell Pierce in the sideboard, which feels weird because I really like that card. Repeal in the sideboard. Condemn in the sideboard. Alright, I think I'm going to end up cutting... Ugh, I don't know actually. This is tough. Spiketail Drakeling? Maybe that's the worst of my creatures. But having onboard counter tricks is kind of nice. Makes your opponent play in a little bit suboptimal manner. I like all of these top end cards, I believe. I'm going to try out the Staff of Nin. Tough call, tough call. I mean, maybe it's just Mistraven. I do have a lot of bounce already, and I'd rather have the Adept on 3 than the Raven on 4. No, the flying is more relevant. Okay, I'm going to try cutting 1 Adept. I think I have enough bounce already besides that, right? The Raven, the Venser, and the Jace. And I think this is a good chance to win. Going to be much heavier blue here than anything else, so we're going to run the Expanse, the Colonnade. I'm not going to run the Reflecting Pool. I don't believe that's worth it. And then we'll go 6-9 in favor of blue. And we still have the Prismatic Lens as well for some additional filtering. All right, so let's ship this, and yeah, I think this deck's great. Let's hopefully 3-0, and we'll see you back for round 1, which will be right now. Bam! Round 1 here of the Modern Cube on Magic Online. We are playing a blue-white tempo-y deck. We are on the play, and yeah, we have a decent hand. Missing double blue for right now, but we have many more blue sources in the deck than we do white, so I'm not too concerned about keeping a hand that's a little bit slow. It has a lot of powerful ones in this. Hello, good luck, have fun. Remember, we have, what, 9 islands, 6 plains, and then we also have a Evolving Wilds. But we have time, right? Unless our opponent's playing Mono Red or something, which is very good and is in the cube. Ooh, an Ancestral Vision, the suspend from the opponent there. Hopefully we can find a counter by the time that's about to pop off. Ah, perfect. There's our second blue source. So we get to play a Spiketail Drake on turn 3. And hopefully we can back it up with some nice ones. Opponent on looks like Esper of some sort, so probably lends towards a more control-ish strategy from them as well. Nothing to do here for us but run out that Spiketail Drakeling. I guess most of my counters aren't going to work versus the Ancestral Vision. Lingering Souls, we're going to let that resolve. Also, our Spiketail Drake just holds back all the spirits anyways. Ooh, Athalia is not a bad one. Happily play that and just pass the turn. I'm not going to trade my Drake off for half of a Lingering Souls. That doesn't seem worth it. I guess Condescend would be a pretty fine draw. I'm not going to Pact of Negation there, Ancestral Vision. I just don't think that's worth it. Kitchen Finks. Yeah, also a card I'm not too concerned about, honestly. Okay, so they are going to get to draw 3 cards next turn. Ooh, Confiscate's pretty sick. But I'm just going to resolve the Jace here and uptick start netting additional cards to try to catch up to their vision. And I think we can actually bottom the island, because we're likely to draw some more lands anyways. Presumably Jace is going to live until next turn. And I have a draw and then a scry and a draw before I need to find another land. So again, not going to Pact of Negation the Ancestral Vision, as much as I would love to. Just going to sit back here on our creatures that hold off all of theirs currently. If they do something too scary, sure, I can Pact. But as it stands, with the Planeswalker on the board, I think our position is a little bit favored. Also, they can't even cast anything that costs 4 or more, right? Because of the Spike-tailed Drakeling. And any creature they might play just enters tapped. Though that, I guess, is less relevant than anything else. Good stuff, good stuff. 6 cards in hand, though. Notably, only access to 1 blue at the moment. And I imagine if they're playing Ancestral Vision, blue is probably more than a splash in their deck, but who knows? Man, Jace into Elspeth, the dream if this happens. Solemn Simulacrum. Nope. That does give them extra mana, of course, but that's not a creature or a card I currently care about. They got another Plains, though, so maybe they are just splashing Ancestral Vision. That's kind of silly if they are. Alright, a different Elspeth for us. Let's scry and draw again. And this time we will happily keep the island. Run out the Elspeth. And start upticking our Planeswalkers. If I get the opportunity to Ultimate Jace, I will happily do so. Makes our counterspells that much more powerful when the opponent has to first get their first cast spell of the turn countered before they can go for anything else. They do have that Lingering Souls in their graveyard still, so in a pinch, if they need to get some more spirits, they can to kind of keep us off of the loyalty on our Planeswalkers, but they haven't shown a way to deal with our Spike-tailed Drakeling as of yet. Yeah, every turn we have these Planeswalkers on the battlefield. We're just getting farther and farther ahead. And eventually I can just start passing the turn with Celestial Colonnade and our counters open, which seems pretty nice. Faith's Fetters on my Jace. Now this is something I'm probably going to want to Pact of Negation here. I think let's go for that. And we're still holding up Spike-tailed Drakeling as well. And then if I hit an additional land next turn, oh, Temporal Isolation on my Spike-tailed Drakeling. Okay, that's fine. I can hold up Rune Snag was what I was trying to say. All right, so we can just use the Spike-tailed Drakeling to counter anything in a pinch. But now their spirits are going to start attacking down our Planeswalkers. So it looks like they're attacking Jace here first. So Jace falls to 5. I have to pay 5 on upkeep. There's another land. Let's create some more chump tokens. And I imagine they're going to flash back Lingering Souls next turn. So if I bounce a spirit token with Jace, he goes down to 3, then I'll go down to 2 to on attack. So I guess we're just going to uptick here. Draw extra cards. Bottom a land, play the land. And just say go from here. Still looking very good for us. If they're attacking Jace, then Elspeth just keeps hammering away. Soon I should be able to just start throwing creatures away to get in for damage with as many soldiers as I have here. Alright, Gideon, ally of Zendikar. I'm actually going to go ahead and sack my Spiketail Drakeling to make them pay 2. And then once they do, I can follow it up with a Rune Snag. Because I imagine here what they're doing is probably just going to ultimate. And I don't want that to happen, otherwise their spirits are going to get a little bit out of hand. Yeah, and now we can hold up Celestial Colonnade in following turns. Alright, these ones are attacking Elspeth this time. Sure, that's fine. Ooh, Venser actually changes plans here, doesn't he? So let's uptick Elspeth. Let's scry and draw. Yeah, I'll keep an Essence Scatter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can't activate Colonnade and hold up Venser. But I am happy just to sit back here on my multiple counters, my Colonnade, and our Planeswalkers. Sublime Archangel to play from the opponent. And we will say, scat that. We will say, scat to that, man. Alright, flashback Lingering Souls. I'm going to let that happen. Alright, well, it looks like they're attacking into my Celestial Colonnade. They might have forgotten about it. But they did get 1 damage on my Elspeth, so props to them. Another lovely counter draw. Alright, uptick Elspeth again. Uptick... I can actually bottom Jace, or minus Jace if I want to, and then counter one of the spells on the way back down. I should probably start getting a little bit more aggressive, yeah. I'm going to return the Kitchen Finks to their hand. And, actually activate the Colonnade here too, because I can still hold up Spell Queller. No, I want to hold up Venser as well, so we'll just bash in with everything here. They'll take 11 damage as they block one of my tokens. And then we should be able to kill them next turn. It's played more like a control deck than anything else. But I guess we are pretty controlling. I just thought it would be a little bit more aggro than that. Not that I should be complaining. This is clearly to our advantage. Our deck felt like it was never behind, except for maybe the turn where they had the Ancestral Vision out. Or rather, when they had the Ancestral Vision resolving. Alright, they're going to recast their Kitchen Finks. I am going to go for a Spell Quell on that. And they scoop. Alright, good deal. So let's go to sideboarding for game 2. And what do we want to bring in versus the Esper deck? Nothing? Our deck's perfect? Is that what you said? Alright, let's just run it back. Game 2 of this first match. We're up a game. We're on the draw on the opponent mulligan. I'm actually going to keep this hand, even though it's a little bit sketchy. And by a little bit sketchy, I mean very sketchy. It doesn't do anything until turn 4 at the earliest, and that's only if I want to pact something. But hey, ooh, Staff of Nin. Alright, that is a card that can easily get us back into the game from a slower start. Opponent on the old Plains Island draw. And we drew Thalia. Alright, so keep sketchy hands and draw good cards. That's a lesson to all of you on how to play Magic the Gathering. Not one that I would recommend. Wow, and Spell Queller too. We are just getting extremely lucky here. I'm still going to lead out with the Thalia. It blocks the Kitchen Finks better. And the opponent doesn't actually have to do anything since they're already up ahead on board, so we'll play the Thalia, see what they do. Elspeth? That's also not what I want to see here. But, oh, they're actually going to give Kitchen Finks flying and get aggro on me here. Wow, that is a little bit surprising to me. Well, we drew our own Elspeth, and funny enough, instead of holding up Spell Queller, I can actually play my Elspeth and kill theirs. Alright, let's do that. Seems good to me. Again, why play good? Why play well when you can draw well? That's the ultimate question for the ages. I am holding up Pact of Negation here. Aw, boo. Face Fetters on my Elspeth. I think we actually let that resolve. We have ways to bounce the Face Fetters or Elspeth, and I'd rather resolve this Staff of Nin, so let's do that. Let's resolve the Staff and just pass the turn here. Thalia holds back the Kitchen Finks. And we do have Pact of Negation should they do something too threatening. Quarantine Field for 2. That qualifies as something too threatening that we will counter. Alright, end of turn. We shoot them for 1. Pay 5 on upkeep. Draw an extra card. And this time we are a little bit defenseless, but I think that's okay. Archangel of Thune, sure, that's fine. Alright, Temple of Silence is the last card in the opponent's hand. Okay. We should be okay here. I do need to find a bounce effect for the Archangel at this point, but I don't know what the opponent's doing here. I think they think that Kitchen Finks and Archangel is infinite, but I can shoot it with the Staff of Nin in response to the life gain trigger. And so they just end up buffing their Archangel instead of keeping their Kitchen Finks, which is what I think they intended to do. Alright, draw an extra card. Not too good there. Let's play out the Monastery Mentor and bash for 3. I might have to play like Spell Queller or Kira as a chump effect, because that is going to be a 3-turn clock on me. Opting to hold up Spell Queller and other counters here instead of playing out the Kira. Extra card, and there we go. We found ourselves a lovely Jace. Trigger from the Monastery Mentor. Bounce the Archangel, and then we can Essence Scatter it on the way back down. And that should be all she wrote. Even though the opponent has a nice life buffer on us, we have all the tools we need at this point to simply just win the game. Also, Monastery Mentor are going to be doing some sick work here with all these counters. Prowess, trigger, 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 counter. And looks like they're just passing the turn. And once we untap at this point, I think that's basically game over. If they had anything else to do this turn, maybe they might have had a shot, but now we're just drawing way too many cards, and we have way too many answers in our hand. So let's scry and draw one with Jace. We're actually fine drawing lands here, if that's what we draw. Because we have such a glut of useful spells in our hand. And because we're drawing multiple cards a turn, it's going to be harder for us to cast them all out if we don't find the land. So I'm going to keep that island. Play out the Kira. And I'm actually going to play out the island instead of the Terramorphic to hold up a bigger Condescend, so we can Condescend for 4 if necessary. Because we should just have the opponent dead next turn. Yep, and that's going to be all she wrote. Game 1, or rather round 1, is a win for us. So let's keep rolling back this sweet blue-white deck and keep going, shall we? Match 2 of this Modern Cube League. We are on the draw, and we'll keep this hand. Very slow mono 4-drops over here, but I do have a Condescend to kind of get anything that they might do on turn 3. Alright, Island the start from the opponent. But all of my creatures bounce, so even if they do get a little bit ahead, we can buy back that time. Oh, Spiketail Drake, not bad. Get to cast that on turn 3 now. Not going to counter and anticipate if that's what they're casting here. Indeed it is. Would much rather counter Ashiok or, I don't know, just any creature. Anything they tap out for next turn is certainly going to get condescended. Okay. Resolves their anticipate. Draws for their turn. Triple blue start. No plays, though. All right. And if they don't do anything, I'm not going to do anything. Because we have a Venser in our hand, we're capable of just holding up counters the entire time. Can hold up a Condescend here for this turn, and then if they end up not doing anything, I would have been able to Venser. I'm going to go ahead and Condescend their Prismatic Prison here for 2. Or Prismatic Lens here for 2. Just use my mana efficiently. Ooh, and we found a Monastery Mentor, so let's bottom the island, top the Mentor. And do I want to run it out? I think I do. I think we're just going to run out the Mentor right now. I don't have any ways to trigger Prowess or getting another creature, but I'm not too scared of what they can do right now. And again, I can just bounce any creature that they play. Compulsive Research? Okay, that's fine. This is turn 5, notably, so they did miss their land drop last turn. And they're going to have to dig for one here. And I imagine they're actually going to discard 2 cards with Compulsive because they don't want to discard lands unless they actually just draw 3 straight lands with it. Whoa, what in the world? Chandra and Sarkin. And they didn't play a land, so they didn't find a land there. Wow. And I guess we're just going to pound them down. Play out the Drake here. There's no reason not to, right? In a pinch, if they have something that I want to counter with it, then I can go ahead and do that. If it's something irrelevant that they cast, then I don't even need to counter it, and I still have an additional 2/2 beater. But with the opponent stuck on lands, this is going to probably be a pretty easy game for us here. Again, they're going to discard. They discarded a Venser. Oh! And I just drew a Confiscate. So remember, Confiscate is permanent. I actually messed up here. I could have confiscated their island and gotten extra damage in, but I was too excited to do it pre-combat. Let's steal one of their islands. And if they have a counter, then I get to Spiketail Drakeling their counter. Slight punt. I missed out on 1 damage here. Scatter to the winds. I'm actually going to counter that. I think stealing their land is very worth it here. And yeah, they just scooped the game. All right, so I missed out on a damage, but it was for good measure. Seeing what we saw, Spell Pierce is certainly a card I think we want to bring in. And on the draw, what do we want to take out? Could take out the Mist Raven. It didn't seem that good. We already have other bounce effects. They looked more control-y, so they didn't have as many creatures. I think I'm okay cutting the Mist Raven here and just running it back with Spell Pierce in its stead. And yeah, let's go to game 2. Game 2 of the second match. We are on the draw, and we have a lovely hand. These are the type of hands that I love keeping in Cube or any other format for that matter. Don't actually have a win con right now. Celestial Colonnade, nice, but don't have a second blue source. But after this next turn, I'm just going to keep passing the turn. We have Essence Scatter, Rune Snag, Spell Pierce. I don't believe you want to run out the Mind Stone just yet. I can play it next turn while holding up Rune Snag. While holding up Spell Pierce. And then if the Mind Stone resolves, I get to hold up the Rune Snag. So we'll just Spell Pierce their Compulsive Research. I'm going to play Mind Stone off of both of my planes next turn. And then pass the turn holding up our other two counters. Staff of Nin was a great draw. Precisely what we were looking for. A way to get some more control elements back. They play a creature. They did not. I was going to say, if they played a creature, I'm going to happily Essence Scatter it, but Rune Snag hitting Chandra, A-okay by me. Kira Glass Spinner. Alright, so can't cast Kira yet, but we will just pass the turn here, hoping that they cast a creature right into our Essence Scatter. We do know the opponent has like Sarkin and stuff as well, though. Alright, Prismatic Lens is fine. And a pass from the opponent. Now this is going to be the pivotal moment. I'm going to play out my Staff of Nin, and if they have a counter for this, I'm going to be very sad. But if they don't, then we're just going to get way too much advantage out of it. Any Planeswalker they play now is also going to be threatened by our Celestial Colonnade. Alright, just a Venser. We did see that in the previous game. They discarded it last time. And that's not too bad. Attack for 2. A land. No follow-up. Alright, we're just going to try to run it out again. Alright. Nice, nice, nice. And it resolved. No whammies. Jace, Architect of Thought, is fine. They're going to -3, I imagine. And we will give them Negate versus All. I think Negate is our scariest opponent. Let's see what they took. Alright, they took the Negate. That's fine. End of turn, I get to shoot the Jace, and then on my main phase, on my turn, I get to shoot the Jace again. Or I could just activate Colonnade, of course. Alright, I'll fall down to 16. Shoot Jace here. Draw an extra card. Ooh, lovely cards. Shoot Jace again. Actually, all of these are non-creatures, so the opponent can't even do anything about them. Thalia, and I think I'm going to pass here holding up Venser instead of playing out the Kira and only holding up the Essence Scatter into a Magma Jet. Okay, so I think I Venser my Thalia back to my hand. Bouncing their Magma Jet doesn't really do anything unless I had played the Kira first. And we'll happily trade here. We know one of their cards in their hand. It's the Negate. Alright, main phase Anticipate. Well, this is the turn. If they find like Sarkin, that would be decent. Oh wait, no, not even that really. We have Colonnade and Staff of Nin to shoot down Sarkin. Never mind. Sarkin not that big of an issue here, if they have it. Yeah, we're just in commanding position right now. Happily trade because we're drawing so many more cards than them. All right. Serum Vision's off the top for us. I'm going to go ahead and cast it. If they have or if they want to negate this, that's more than fine. Bottom the Knight Errant, top the Jace. Now this time we're going to play out the Kira first. And then we'll run out the Thalia. So any burn spells they might have, not as useful. Alright, Thirst for Knowledge, end of turn. They have a lot of card filtering, I will give them that. But with the Resolve Staff of Nin, it's just going to be, again, way too hard for them to do anything, I think. They're going to need to draw some real haymakers, because now I'm going to start activating the Colonnade and just bashing them, putting them on like a 2-turn clock. No reason to run out my spells into their negate when I have absolutely no reason to do so. Alright, OP. What sick nasties are you going to discard here? They discarded a Flame Slash. Oh, and they discarded their negate. Okay. So negate and Flame Slash gone. Well, that gives me free reign to play my non-creature spells now, if I so choose. Glenelendra Archmage. I'm going to go ahead and say no to that. Jace Beleren, absolutely fine. Alright, they're going to target themselves, draw an extra card. And we are just going to shoot down the Jace. And let's shoot down the Jace. I'm going to anticipate first here in case we find a counter. We'd rather hold that up. But Spiketail Drakeling, not exactly the counter we were looking for. Alright. Now instead we'll happily run out the Elspeth. Notably, I could have just attacked the opponent here for 9 with the Colonnade, but getting the Planeswalker on the battlefield and getting just more advantage here, really putting the nail in the coffin, I think is a little bit better of a game plan. I don't know. I think it's close, right? Colonnade hits them down to 11, and then I have them dead on the following turn. Oh, brutal. Thalia making their Bloodstained Mire enter tapped. Brutality. I guess, no, never mind. I don't have them dead on the next turn, because I used Staff of Nin to kill the Jace. So activating the Colonnade actually doesn't change the clock. It's still a 3-turn kill. Yeah, okay. I mean, could have thought about that beforehand, but... Ooh, a Karn. Lovely. Well, they can't target my creatures, so they're either going to have to target the Elspeth or the Staff of Nin at this point. Alright, and Elspeth down. But again, we're just way too far ahead. Ooh, and a Pact of Negation to solidify it. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Activate our Colonnade. Attack them. We will kill the Karn with Thalia, but then the rest attack their face. Play out the Spiketail Drakeling. So we have not only Pact of Negation in our hand for anything that needs to be countered, but we also have the Spiketail Drakeling just to kind of neuter their cheaper spells. And that's going to be all she wrote. All right, a quick 2-0 with this lovely blue-white deck. Let's see if we can pull it off in the finals and go to match 3. Stay tuned. The final match, match 3, round 3, with our blue-white control deck here in this modern cube on Magic Online. We're going to play first. And sad to say, if I had one more land, this hand would be great, but we're going to have to ship this down to 6. Oh no, we're going to have to go down to 5 here as we have two 1-landers in a row. And this one I'm going to keep. Any land gets us Prismatic Lens. We do have a Scry as well, so let's put that on top and hope that a mulligan to 5 can get there. Uh-oh, are we playing against Mono Red? We are. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit harder to do. In fact, man, holding up Essence Scatter here would be real nice, but I think I do need to just play out the lens to let me cast Thalia, even if I draw a mountain, or rather a island next turn. Zergo into Fire Drinker plus Rakdos Cackler. We did hit a Plains. Alright, well, not completely out of it, but pretty much guaranteed Thalia is not going to survive the turn here. And we will be taking at least 6 damage. There goes a Brimstone Volley and an attack for 6. Venser's a good draw. Venser's definitely a good draw. But a mulligan to 5 versus the red deck is going to be a little bit problematic for us. Alright, so I'm gonna bounce the Cackler and attempt to block the Fire Drinker. Nice, good stuff. They have a follow-up Shrine of Burning Rage, and then the replay of their Cackler, I imagine. Yep. Okay, not looking good for us. Looter Core probably not gonna probably not gonna win us the game by itself. The Red Menace. The Fun Police, as they like to say. Lots of 1-drops. I do like that from the opponent's perspective. Alright, we will Essence Scatter their Flame Speaker. Go to attack with our Looter since, well, it can't do any blocking. I guess we discard Confiscate, even though that was like my 1 out to Shrine. And scoop them up. Let's go to a game 2. We'll consider that a mulligan loss, if anything else. Now, what do we bring in versus the red deck? Well, we're going to bring in Spellskite. We're going to cut this Pact of Negation. We're going to cut this Confiscate. What else can I cut? I think I like keeping all of those other ones. I like bringing in Condemn. I like bringing in Adept. Repeal doesn't seem bad. Maybe Staff is just too slow, though. I think cutting Staff is okay. All these other cards look good, although Metamorph not exactly the best versus Mono Red. I think we also should cut one of these counters in favor of like a Spirit of the Labyrinth just to block. So let's cut Rune Snag and say, that's good. Let's go get 'em, red deck. All right, game 2 in the finals versus the Mono Red. We are on the play again. And this hand's a keep. It's a little bit slow, but Repeal on the play means we get to bounce their 1-drop. And more importantly, we're not on a mulligan to 5. Opponent did mulligan to 6, though, so that's a start. That's definitely a start for us. Mountain into... What 1-drop do you have? Zergo once again. All right. Gonna need to find some action here, but again, with the Repeal, I'm not too upset. Uh-oh, Burning Tree Emissary. Please don't play any more nasty spells on me. This is a Lightning Maul. Oh god, I was gonna say if that was a Lightning Maul, that would be brutal, but actually that's really nice for us that we get to bounce Zergo here. Super good value. Huge tempo blow to them. We even do an Essence Scatter to cast next turn. Oh, even better. A Prismatic Lens plus holding up the Essence Scatter. Alright. Hopefully they just try to dash Zergo. Ugh, but they had the Shrine instead. Okay, well they didn't equip the Bone Splitter, which is nice. Let me get some good value off of my Scatter there instead. So I think I'm going to run out the Tammy here and tap down their Burning Tree. Eventually we can tap down the Shrine of Burning Rage if we need to, but we also have Venser to bounce it. Right, Flame Speaker is fine. Ooh, a Spell Queller. That's also a very good draw. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so we'll tap the Flame Speaker here, and I think we pass holding up Colonnade, which should be kind of scary to them, but we're actually also holding up Venser and Spell Queller. Hero of Oxid Ridge. Okay, so surprisingly, I'm going to let that resolve. Let's see what they attack. Alright, they're both attacking Tamiyo. So now I get to bounce their Shrine of Burning Rage back to their hand, resetting its counters, and trade away with the Hero of Oxid Ridge. Tamiyo still living on 3. Very good line. Oh, yeah, and we drew a nice one. Elspeth Sun's Champion. Now we just take over with Planeswalkers. Gotta tap down the Prophetic, though, because it has Trample, and they do have a Bone Splitter. but now I think we're going to pull up way too far ahead from the opponent. That's the hope anyways. And I trade 2 free tokens for the burning tree. Seems good. Another land's not terrible. We'll tap down the prophetic, create more tokens. Just gonna pass here with the spell queller open instead of attacking with colonnade. Because we're at 18 health, I'm not in a rush to kill them. All right, shrine, and I'll go ahead and just spell queller the first thing they cast. Sure, last card in their hand is a Fire Drinker Satyr, and that should be all she wrote. Another island, but we'll poop out some more tokens. Tap down the Prophetic Flame Speaker again, and now we'll activate and attack with the Colonnade and the Spell Queller. So now if they don't draw a burn spell, they have to use the Shrine of Burning Rage to take out the Elspeth. Otherwise, we threaten the ultimate next turn. Whew, okay, and we got there. Our cards lined up really well that game versus them, though. But now that we're going to be on the draw again, this is going to be a lot scarier. Honestly, I might actually cut the Looter and just bring in Spell Pierce, as the Looter doesn't block, is very easy to kill, and even though it loots, I'd rather have an interactive spell, like the Snag. And let's go to Game 3 versus the Mono Red deck. Alright, Game 3 of the finals. Our opponent very quickly kept their hand, and unfortunately I'm going to have to mulligan this because versus most decks, I'm sure I could find a way to keep this, but against the Mono Red deck, we're just going to have to go down and find some more interactive spells, and this hand, my friends, is much better. Wow. Even though Terramorphic is awkward, this hand is great. Planes off the top would have been nice. Did not really want to draw Tamiyo there. Was really looking to find a land. But if they just attack for 3 and pass, I think that's great. Although it looks like they might have another follow-up play here. Burning Tree Emissary. Oh god, into another 2-drop. Or just into another 1-drop would even still be bad for us. Hopefully they just pass with Burning Tree. No other plays, but... Oh, wow! We did get lucky. Get a Plains here. Nope, I do need to find lands real bad. I'm going to pass. I'm going to condemn their Merciless Predator instead of playing out the Spellskite. Sure, they're dashing Zergo. Alright, I'll take 4. Condemn their Merciless Waif. Land? Please? Alright, well, let's just run out the Spellskite instead of repealing their Zergo. Koth. Ugh. Gross. So we're going to be taking 4 here from Koth. And... oh, they targeted the wrong mountain. They targeted the Summoning Sick Mountain. Whoopsies. We actually saved ourselves a bit of life there. Got lucky. Damn it. Well, this might be the way we lose, friends. Did not find that important land. Repeal bounces non-lands. And Koth is going to ultimate next turn. Yowza. The opponent did it again. They keep targeting their... There's Summoning Sick Land. Well, it's not really going to matter because as soon as they ultimate Koth, we lose. But... kind of funny that the opponent did that. Yeah. I don't think there's anything in our deck that can survive or that can save us from it, though. don't think I have any bounce for Koth. That costs 2. So let's repeal their Zergo. Thalia is not good enough. Boo this. Well, I can't really complain. I mean, mulligan to 5 and land screw is going to happen. If this is the way we lose, so be it. Not much I could have done then. Funny that the opponent kind of gave us a chance, though, with all the summoning sick lands. Remember, Koth doesn't give the mountain haste when he turns into a 4/4, so you have to target a land that's already been on the battlefield for a turn. Alright, my internet seemed to have crashed. They replayed their Zergo. I mean, I guess I'll play Thalia. All I need to do is ultimate Koth, and then I'll scoop the game, so we'll see. Alright, take your turn. Take your turn! Just do it! Just kill me! Alright, they ultimate, and that will be the game. Well, unfortunately, again, I think this deck was definitely a 3-0 deck, but we mulliganed to 5 game 1 versus mono red, and then we just got land screwed that very last game. But sometimes that's how it goes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this look at Modern Cube on Magic Online currently for the next few weeks, I think, until they bring out Modern Masters 3, or 2017 or whatever. Again, this deck was sweet. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Unfortunate that we got a little bit unlucky in the final round to lose it all, but still good fun, and I would suggest trying it out if you have the opportunity to do so. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the additional videos I've been uploading to YouTube and Numot Gaming lately. I got some new video editing and recording software, and it works a lot more smoothly than my previous one, so I'm able to churn out more videos for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube if you like. Check out all of our other content on numotgaming.com. And until next time, Kenji NumotTheNummy signing out. Take it easy, friends.